ARP called me and said what Gerald said, and then said Gerald called AyeVerb. So ARP say, yeah, Gerald said that she felt like you was scamming them or you getting lined them up. So he called Verb because he knew like Verb was your brother. So he wanted to get a Verb opinion on it. I said, out of all the people he called Verb and nobody supposed to be knowing you sponsor me, I thought that was kind of like, why call Verb? But I'm like, all right, what Verb say? And then that's when ARP told me, you know what I'm saying, what Verb said to Gerald. Verb was like, yeah, man, he been in spaces a lot. You know, he ain't cool with Nick Cannon no more. You see him and his manager on that scam and they together. Like, I watch him. Like I wouldn't even do it. Like, watch that nigga. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, nah, that nigga, he in spaces more. Don't like he said all this stuff to Gerald about me. Like he potentially, nigga, I get paid a lot of money for battles. A lot of money. Not 100,000, not 150,000. I get $200,000 or more to battle rap. Facts. So with you telling a nigga like G, yo, I wouldn't do it. He a scam. Look what he did as his manager. Look at all that. And then if G don't want to get the ball rolling, and now you're a rail, be like, man, that's the extra help we need just to get stuff. I miss out on $200,000 or more.
Very, very interesting, man. Top of the morning, man. Salute to everybody, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I wanted to put the space out last night. This Verb and Hitman thing has been kind of blowing up overnight. It happened kind of late, probably around 11 o'clock at night. So I put the space out. Other people got spaces out, man. Make sure you listen to the entire space, man, so you can get an idea of really kind of what started this, what's really going on, all kind of stuff, because it was a bunch of subliminal shit before then that you couldn't really piece together. So I put the space out, said I'd give my opinion in the morning, and here we are, man. But before I get into this, man, Cola, man, it was bad enough I put you on a meat ride blog and your ass is still meat ride. Hold on. Dude, another very deserving guy, you know what I'm saying? This nigga meat ride abilities is off the chart. Cola, what happened to you, Cola? 96.4%. Gotta get your meat riding down, man. You gotta get your meat riding down to a more manageable level. Man, at the end of Hitman's space, he was like, yo, does any bloggers want to come up here, ask any questions and talk? And here come Cola. He comes up there and he just starts meat riding to the 10th degree. I mean, a nigga trying to move up to the #1 spot. I don't know the #1 spot. He just started meat riding, bro. You was always the leader of the Midwest. It was never Verb. You know, niggas really fuck with you because you was more thorough. Bro, you ain't got a lot to kick it, bro. Like, we do give Verb his credit for being one of the leaders of the Midwest, if not the leader at the time. You ain't got to come up there and start meat riding, bro. Just keep it a bean with niggas. That's all you got to do. So I just want to put that out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be asking me, do I want to do another meat? I might have to do another list by the end of the year. You never really know. Meat riders pop up every day. Like every like once a week. I just be looking online. I'll be like, damn, this nigga meat riding going up. So I don't know. I might end up having to do another list, but that's neither here nor there. For the people that watched the Hitman space, he basically was saying him and Verb was cool. And he was like, the first time he really kind of like ran into really any real, like kind of looking side-eye at Verb was that Verb wanted to battle him. And he said that he didn't really want to battle Verb. Verb was the one that kind of wanted to battle him being a competitor. He was like, cool. Now, you know, there was a big thing around that time of that, you know, Verb started this Midwest movement thing and he was battling Rex, Charlie Clips and all these guys. And all of a sudden he battled X Factor out of nowhere, which was a Midwest guy. And it kind of, and he kind of like owned up to it later on, was like, yo, fuck these niggas, I'm trying to get money. So of course, in order to make money and you run out of battling New York niggas, you're gonna have to battle some of the Midwest niggas because they were some of the biggest niggas in battle rap too. So he ended up battling X Factor, Hitman, Calico, the list goes on of people that he battled. So Hitman at the time was like, yo, even my mom and them didn't even want me to battle him and all this kind of stuff. So he's talking about that story, but he said Verb kind of wanted the battle, and him being a competitor, he ended up doing a battle. He talked a little bit about like Verb not being at one of his biggest battles, which was a Arsenal battle. And I remember that was kind of the battle that really took Hitman off, was that Arsenal battle. And he said that the jealousy between Verb, he could kind of sense, because he had started to become equal, if not a little bit bigger than Verb in terms of like notoriety and stuff. Now, obviously, we know Hitman is the view king. You know what I'm saying? Him and Surf. So from a numbers game, which is what people used to kind of like really look at the numbers, million views, million views, million views. Hitman was like the king of that. So he said there was a time when Verb was on a losing streak. He had lost to Clips. He had lost to Rex. He had lost to X Factor. All of those was like in a row. Clips was Summer Madness 1, Rex was Summer Madness 2, X Factor was, I think, was the shit in Chicago or whatever, which was like Gnome 2 or something like that. So he was like, there was a little bump in the road for Verb. And he said during that time, he had started to ascend. You know what I'm saying? He had started to do his thing. And he started to kind of match Verb's popularity a little bit and get very, very popular like Verb. He said Young Ill was popular, but he never got to him and Verb's status because he never headlined any events, which is true. One thing, if you look at it, Young Ill never been on a Summer Madness or a Known, which is kind of crazy thinking about it, because he was one of the biggest battlers, but he's never been on a Summer Madness or a Known. So he was saying Ill, for whatever reason, wasn't really on the bigger cards that they were on. So he kind of like, in a pecking order, it was kind of like Verb, Hitman, Ill in pecking order as far as notoriety, popularity, and how URL looked at them. And he said he gradually started to build himself up. So he was kind of like telling that story. And we all know eventually he moved on and Wild 'N Out, got super popular, was kind of like one of the highest paid people on URL. He said he always got more respect in battle rap than Verb from like the peers and the fans. He said people used to talk down to Verb a lot, used to call him gay, used to call him feminine, used to say all kind of stuff. And the only thing he ever really got was that he was emotional. He said people never disrespecting him though. He said a lot of times people would be, you know, people trying Verb and shit like that, in the K-Shine situation. He said he was always front and center, that even though he may not have liked some of the things Verb did, he realized for battle rap it was important that St. Louis stood together. So he never talked bad about Verb publicly, and he always was at a lot of his big battles, especially if his schedule permitted him to. So that, because Verb didn't roll with a lot of people, so he was like, I always was there to make sure like Verb was straight, because he didn't really roll with a lot of people. He wasn't like me to pull up to a battle 20 deep or whatever. So he was just like, you know, I was there for the Loaded Lux battle. I was there for the K-Shine battle. He's like, if you go to the K-Shine battle, you'll see that I'm out front. Like, as soon as K-Shine is trying to pop off, I'm always letting it be known that even despite our issues, it was kind of St. Louis over everything. And I always kind of thought they had a somewhat, I ain't gonna say good relationship, but I kind of knew that they weren't like super, super, super tight. You know what I'm saying? I could just tell. He basically said the first big thing that happened between him and Verb was ARP tried to book Iron Solomon and AyeVerb. I think he was doing that battle, and somewhere during the negotiations of that battle, he had an idea of, let's make it a St. Louis card. So he reached out to Young Ill and was like, yo, you want to battle Ill Will? He reached out to Hitman, do you want to battle Bill Collector? And he tried to make it like a St. Louis card. And Verb and Iron Solomon was the main event. It was the main event, I believe, because it was like booked first. I think initially it wasn't going to be a St. Louis card. It was just going to be Verb being booked against Iron Solomon as a main event. And then once it got brought on, everybody came on, but they still kind of kept Verb as the main event. Hitman was the bigger star though. He was on Wild 'N Out. He was doing way more views. He was bringing in more revenue, ROI, as they like to say, return on investment. He was more the pay-per-view seller. So ARP paid him more money for that battle. It was going to pay him more money for that battle. And you know that's a bigger battle. It's a grudge match. It's big. It's Bill Collector. That's a super grudge match in battle rap. Whereas Iron Solomon and AyeVerb, even though they're two great battlers, that's not a grudge match. And if we keep it a being, Verb isn't bigger than Hitman in battle rap. He just wasn't. Like I said, Hitman was on Wildin' Out. So ARP put out some tweets. I don't know if they're still up, but ARP did confirm that Verb was hating. Like, yo, if Hitman is making more money than me, I'm not going to do the battle and all this kind of stuff. He ain't done the things I done in battle rap. I've accomplished more than him, yada, yada, yada. I should be paid more. Now, to some people, you might think, well, Verb is just angling to make more money. That's not really hating on anything. But I kind of feel like if Verb really took a step back, Bill Collector was a bigger battle. It's a battle that the culture would want more. Verb didn't really have a great record versus quote unquote white guys. So at the time, that's a bigger battle, and Hitman is a bigger star, and he's a bigger pay-per-view ROI guy, which is important. Return on investment. Meaning if you put him on a pay-per-view, he is going to return the pay-per-view numbers in your favor more than Verb. He should be getting paid more. But ARP basically said that Verb was kind of hating on the battle, was kind of hating on the Hitman thing. Eventually, at one point in time, him and Verb fell out, and he was honest about that situation.
Yeah, you ducked Iron Solomon, but it's another situation. I got to touch on that. Let's play Swear to God. Swear to God, you ain't tell ARP if Hitman got paid more versus Bill Collector, you wouldn't get on it. Enough of that. Here's another fact. You know how many times Sean got paid more than me on cards? I told him double that. Big T, Flips, T-Top. Give him another rack. I'm arguing on the phone with URL like it's my money, smack. Yeah, I freestyle, but I'm not here to rebuttal that, because I'll never let this business make me not have my brother's back. Put the jet out my...
I don't think it's just Verb looking out for more money. I just think he just didn't like that Hitman came on the card and was making more money. We all know what time it is. We know Hitman is the bigger star. We know Hitman is the more ROI guy. And that's really what matters at the end of the day. So he got more of the pie. He ain't finna, his first time battling on RBE, what would have been that battle. He's finna take his same URL numbers and bring them to RBE. And he was making more than Verb on URL. He's going to make more than Verb over here. And Verb knew that. So I do feel like Verb was hating. And at the end of the day, none of them niggas did the battle. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that battle. And basically, Hitman didn't battle Bill Collector at the time. So you're going to basically fuck up the whole battle over an ego when niggas are making thousands of dollars. So to me, that is, and that's supposed to be your brother. So to me, that is a little bit of hate. Fast forward, I'm at Max Out 3. I see, if you looked outside, you would see Verb, you would see Young Ill kind of standing next to each other and shit, just kicking. You would see a bunch of Cardinal niggas there. Hitman was kind of like in some SUVs a little off to the side. And he was still like sitting in the car. If you go look at the battle footage, if you look at B Magic and Arsenal, you see Verb behind B Magic. If you look at Young Ill and Big K, you see Verb behind. And at first I thought, maybe Hitman just don't want to come inside. He's a main event. I know how niggas are. You have a bunch of niggas with you. Last thing you want to do is have a bunch of street niggas just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at when Hitman battled Ill Will, you don't see Verb behind Hitman. Go look at the footage. You don't even see Verb in the footage of that Hitman and Ill Will battle. It was like this was a St. Louis kind of card. But Verb and Hitman really didn't stand behind each other. It's just like they moved separately, but like for battle rap, they were cool. And sometimes in battle rap, bro, you have to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's bloggers that you don't really care for that you end up talking to sometimes because it's just like, yo, it's better that we're cordial than we're enemies. But sometimes you may not like everything they do. They may be slick stuff that they say about you or something like that. But to the public, you never really speak about it. You just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And probably some battle rappers are like that. Sometimes you'll realize that you pull up to an event, it's better to have a little bit of some niggas that you kind of fuck with than to pull up to an event and not know nobody. So you end up hanging around people that you don't care for that much, but at the end of the day, y'all have somewhat of a relationship. It's a lot of probably like, I ain't gonna say their relationship is fake, but it's a lot of like fake love and battle rap or just, niggas just dealing with each other for the moment. And I think Verb and Hitman relationship had got to that point. So fast forward, he talked about, I was on the phone with ARP and I'm like, he's like, yo, I think the Mook and Hitman battle is going to happen. And I'm like, oh, word, because I thought it was dead. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hearing nothing about it. I thought it was dead. He was like, nah, I think it's gonna happen. So he's like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. This is what he's telling me, right? So I'm like, what league? He won't tell me what league. I'm like, when? He was like, I don't know, just this year, just this year. He was like, I've been dealing with some stuff behind the scenes. I think it's gonna happen. I just asked him. I said, are you booking it? He was like, nah, I ain't gonna be on RBE. So I'm like, okay, we probably gonna get the battle then. You know what I'm saying? Hitman says in a space that even though he was telling people that he was not talking to Beasley reached out to him and basically talked to him about the battle, tried to come up with a number for him or what number he would like. And he basically said like, yo, we're gonna look for a sponsor to help pay for the battle. You can do the same on your end and we'll meet back and see if any one of us found a sponsor. But he said that Beasley came up with an idea like, yo, keep telling people that you're not talking to us, you're not talking to us, you're not talking to us. And then once we make this battle happen, we'll just drop a trailer out of nowhere. So he was like, okay, cool. So Hitman was still going online. Now, mind you, ARP then told me like, yo, this battle was about to go down. I'm pretty sure it's going to go down. But I'm still seeing Hitman put, oh, the battle with Mook ain't going down. Beasley still ain't called me. I'm still hearing that on Twitter. So I'm thinking like, okay, which one of these is true? ARP not no liar, bro. He would never tell me that battle was going down if it wasn't in the works. So a part of me felt like Hitman could be trolling. So the person that was going to help make the battle happen was Gerald McCoy. He was the person that Hitman had reached out to and you know, I guess they came up with a $20,000 deposit in order to get Hitman to start writing. Gerald was going to send it. But Gerald is looking at Hitman post those tweets because he's telling Gerald, I spoke to Beasley. Beasley said, da-da-da-da. So if we can get a $20,000 deposit, I'll start writing. But he's seeing those tweets and he's like wondering like, okay, is Hitman trolling or whatever the case may be? Instead of Gerald calling Hitman, which is the person that you're doing business with, he doesn't call Hitman. So Gerald called Verb. And Verb told him, according to Hitman, that he ain't been on Wildin' Out in a while. He in Spaces more. He ain't fucking with Nick. And there's a Wildin' Out tour coming up. And it was posted by Hitman on his Instagram. And basically he was saying that he was going on tour. So he is still fucking with Nick. But he was saying Verb was telling Gerald he not fucking with Nick. He in Spaces more. You know, his manager was scamming. Them niggas scamming together. Basically trying to just say, don't send that bread. Now, Verb is a spin master. What he'll probably try to say is that he was just looking out for Gerald's money. That Hitman was doing business with URL. URL are thieves. They're the devil. They're da-da-da-da. And I'm just looking out for Gerald's money. It wasn't about me hating on Hitman. First of all, if you don't know what's going on and it's not your negotiations, you should have just redirected Gerald and told Gerald to call Hitman. That's what you should have done. Like, yo, I don't know what's going on. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Call Hitman and see what's up. But you didn't do that. That's one. Second of all, Gerald and Verb have an interesting relationship because Gerald then really got fanned out over Verb, bro. He didn't really got fanned out over Verb. And it's one of the reasons why I don't really talk to this nigga no more because he just didn't got to the point where like Verb can do no wrong. And he's helped a lot of Verb battles, bro. Like a lot of Verb's battles lately have something to do with either Gerald putting up more money, Gerald paying for only the Verb side of the battle, or even a Serious Jones battle that's coming up. It's a Gerald McCoy battle. He's paying for Verb. You know what I'm saying? So Gerald is like super fanned out. He let Verb get away with a lot of stuff. And when I was cool with Gerald, I used to be talking to him and I used to just be like arguing with him about some of Verb's points. And it just, the lengths he would go to defend Verb was just beyond crazy to me. I was just like, bro, what are you saying? So basically, Hitman felt like Verb had fucked up the deposit by saying this or that. Like, yo, you know, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. You know, he's not fucking with Nick Cannon. He's this, they scamming. Basically, you know, saying, yo, don't send that bread. So now the Mook battle is on hold because of that. Verb did an interesting space. He did a space where he was like, I control the money. I control Gerald's money. It was like a weird space that I didn't really understand. Hitman said that space happened the same time that Gerald called him about the money.
Gerald is busy on like 9 different things right now. This is something that we put together, right? He loves battle rap. He does. He don't get nothing out of it though. He's one of the most key pieces in the culture because he gives his money out with no hassle because he has that much of it, right? Verb, his boy that talks to him every day, you know everything about me, has got the least amount of money from him out of all you filthy, dirty foot rappers, right? Because y'all have turmoil, right? So Gerald had gave me a gift of I control the budget of his booking now. And I know that's going to be hard to swallow, guys. Like, because here's the thing, right? Gerald was giving his money away to y'all, just giving it to y'all. Some battles ain't even done. It's an unlimited budget of money that can get thrown out, right? The only problem is I got to be a part of the money because it won't move. I know the game full throttle, and I'm the strongest promoter here.
So if you ask me, do I think Verb could have hated on Hitman with the Mook battle to Gerald McCoy? Yeah. I feel like Verb almost act like Gerald is like his nigga and only supposed to get money through him and all this kind of stuff. Like he always liked, you know, Gerald started off as like a behind the scenes nigga, and then Verb basically put him in front of the scenes, and Gerald put himself in front of the scenes as well because he kept being in spaces. And I told you spaces is how you make niggas that you don't think is lame turn into being lame, and them niggas became lame because of that. But I feel like Verb likes to flex like, yo, Gerald is my boy, and he's my boy, and he's this and he's that. Gerald got into battle rap through Norbs. I think Gerald is like Norbs's child's godfather or some shit. They have a really close relationship. So he would basically was cool with Norbs, and then Norbs brought him into the URL fold, and he sponsored some of the Born Legacy battles, and that's how he got into battle rap, was through Norbs. And somehow through battle rap he met Verb and Hitman and all these other different battlers, and he became fanned out. So what started out as the behind the scenes situation, he basically then got fanned out, and Verb probably looks at the situation like, yo, this is my sponsor, not your sponsor, Hitman. So I could see that, even though Gerald does help other battlers like Av, Holla, Don, shit like that, I still feel like when it comes to this St. Louis shit, he probably wants to feel like Gerald is his sponsor. The other thing, if Gerald McCoy was to give $20,000 to Hitman, what would that do? That would facilitate the Hitman and Mook battle. And if you facilitate the Hitman and Mook battle, URL would have got the battle. Coming off the Lux and Rum Nitty battle, if they were able to get Mook and Hitman, look how much URL looks like they're flourishing. Could you see Verb trying to hate on a URL flourishment? Yeah. The problem is in hating on URL and not wanting Gerald McCoy to probably give money to Hitman because it would have helped URL get a big battle, you end up hating on Hitman. Because Hitman was saying he get around $200,000 a battle, and even if that ain't true, even if it's 150, 120, 130, 140, you would have been stopping your man from getting $200,000. That's what would have happened. Do you really think Verb wants URL to get a really, really big battle on the back of Gerald McCoy, who he perceives as like his nigga? No, Gerald McCoy didn't help a lot of niggas. When Hitman mom was going through the whole cancer situation, all that kind of stuff, Gerald McCoy was helping. He's helped Hitman before. That's why Hitman felt comfortable calling him. Gerald has helped a lot of ballers, bro. He was booking Born Legacy battles and paying different ballers. He's helped a lot of ballers. Somehow Verb has got in his mind that he's like the only nigga with the Gerald plug. And really, that's not how it started. Gerald was Norbs' plug. So somehow throughout the thing, the nigga got super fanned out, and now he's like always in Verb spaces and all this kind of stuff. But he helped out with Midnight Madness, helped out with Surf, all this kind of stuff. He liked a lot of different ballers. But in order to chop that Hitman and Mook battle, to stop URL from getting a big battle on the back of Gerald McCoy, I could definitely see Verb hating. The problem is when you hate on that battle, you're really hating on Hitman too. And I listened to Verb's space this morning. He wasn't really addressing shit, bro. He really didn't really address that Gerald McCoy shit. He was like, yo, I didn't really tell Gerald McCoy to not give the money, but I didn't tell him to give the money. That neutral shit is another form of hate. I keep telling you niggas, watch these neutral ass niggas. They be low-key hating behind the scenes. And then everything, he didn't really address nothing, bro. Yeah, you know, swear to God that you don't be talking about me. Put it on Pyru that you won't be talking about me. And da-da-da-da. Like, he was just saying like a bunch of shit that didn't matter. I stood behind you behind most of your battles and da-da-da-da. I went to your album release party. He wasn't really addressing the fact that he was literally doing some of the things that Hitman had an issue with. He wasn't addressing. Verb, you trying to get a battle out of this shit. You trying to get a boxing about it. You trying to box another nigga trying to put hands and feet on your ass. What the fuck you talking about?
Chris, bias. Man, subscribe to the channel, man. Don't be a hater your whole life. Chris, bias.